Hello, and thank you for coming to the presentation that was originally Skynet and AI. And this is an interesting take. It's kind of weird take that I always use on why was Skynet? Is because it's always the tangible problem of how I am going to lose my job or when I'm going to lose my job, right? So that was originally a kind of, I like the image of Sarah Connor kind of a vibe because it's a tool that we use, but it's a tool that we have to be conscious about the decisions that we are taking. And as we were talking, AI is everywhere. So before I start, I wanted to share something very quick. It's not about this specifically. Intracon, what we do is to provide different solutions for companies. We have offices in Germany, Spain, Colombia, and here. And we range from the marketing to technical to consulting, of course, video, all that kind of stuff. So that's why we are in the multidisciplinary kind of field as well. And we have to be fast. And we have to be able to provide whatever the client needs to be in need. And we say, this is how we can help, and we get them the projects. So that's a little bit of the reference, because we go from all of this traditional graphic design to immersive and virtual reality and augmented reality as well. And a little bit about me. In short, I have been lucky to be working with pretty much all of the Adobe tools. I was an Adobe training instructor. I was also an electronic engineer, so I went to code the binary of the microprocessors to design the C# that I never understood and that kind of stuff, right? And I want to show the photo with my kid and my wife because it is something that we need to understand, that AI doesn't get the nuances of being human. There, I was trying to get a photo for New Year. Not even the dog was cooperating. But that was what made the moment special from my perspective. And that was the photo that I used to share with my people, with my friends, because that is behind the scenes is what really happens and how we need to react. I moved here to Boise with my wife in 2025. She works for HP. She is a software architect for HP. And I like sci-fi, as you can notice. I apologize, but every crap that comes from Transformers and Aliens and Predator, I want to watch. I'm not ashamed of that. But a lot of the shows, I don't know if you have watched it. I strongly suggest, which one? The Expanse. Yeah, it's one of the best sci-fi shows ever.
What's it come on?
Huh? In Amazon.
Amazon,
yeah. It is weird, but it's very, very cool. It has been called the most realistic representation of sci-fi and the space and all of that kind of stuff. Just give it like 3 or 4 episodes.
Oh.
No. It's because it's slow burn, but later it's like, oh my God. So,
okay.
Anyway, so that is a little bit about me very quickly. And just to show you what is my personal take from different tools, different disciplines, and the people I have been lucky to work with. So we have to recognize if we say yes, subconsciously or consciously yes to AI, and we always say please, and we say thank you, because when they come and overtake us, they will remember that. Maybe not. Or you are on the side of Sarah Connor. That's why we were making the jokes about you are making friends with John Connor, right? And again, I believe that all of us in the different fields that we do, we have to be conscious about the decisions in the tools companies and ethically professional that we are doing, but not just to be on the stand rails and watching what happens. If you can, you have to influence whatever decision is happening. That's what took me, for example, for virtual reality. My kid helps me to debug the virtual reality experiences that we develop, because I'm more concerned about the social media when it comes to be more virtual, that you have more issues for your kids. So I want to be part of that. I want to understand what is the benefit. Of course, I do my job, but I also need to understand how I can prevent as much as I can of the issues that my kid is going to have. So for creatives, this is my skill level of drawing, okay? I had never said that it's really fun. I have always said that I have very cool, what we call here, stick figures, right? Okay. With that said,
that's pretty good.
Thank you. To me, like 10 now. Yes. My point is, okay, so what do I do, or what can I do with this thing? Why I'm excited is because can help a guy like me to turn like this in 7 minutes. And without joking, from there, you're going to see what happens with that image from the robot. So that's why it's kind of okay. It's scary. Again, the Skynet kind of a joke. I always like the creative side, so I love to be in the right moment or kind of observe the right element. I take my photos before AI was a thing. So it has been like I went with my kid. This was from 2017. It's in the website for Meetup. That was in that long time ago before AI was cool. I use it because that's what I like to do. My render engine, right? The modeling, the visualization, realism, etc., etc. And you can see that I don't have a style. I just like to create whatever I want to create. Later on in the social media, when we present the portfolios in the social media, I'm going to show what has been done for projects, for actual clients. So I like particle systems. I know you have done 3D graphic visualizations, but this is something that I really like. It doesn't mean anything, just cows. So the topic or the idea for the presentation is to say, how can we continue using AI without removing ourselves, without removing our expertise? Because that's the reason why the people are hiring you and why we don't want them to fully understand that AI is bad. You have to train them. You have to explain why this kind of thing can get you into dark places. It's not apocalyptic. It's just realistic. So before that, in Photoshop, we were talking about generative expand, right? The tools in Adobe Photoshop. This is from the Balloon Festival here. That was my photo. Then I took into Photoshop and said, okay, let's expand this thing. Please observe the details of the top of the balloon. Ahora, I could have made it. Yeah. I don't know how much time would have been needed to make it happen. But okay, let's expand it a little bit. I just want the phoenix as part of the balloon. Mm-hmm. Right? It took me like 5 different prompts, different efforts. But like, okay, yeah, this is kind of interesting. This could work. Again, the option of generative expand, you have the same kind of idea of the frame. Then you want to expand it. It creates a very good job with the trees. It usually does a very good job with very repetitive patterns. And it's in no time, like just 3 clicks and you have that. What does that mean for projects for the client? Sorry, no. You cannot have Photoshop and generative fill without the Star Wars. You can't. It's a fact. I was surprised because it didn't give me any kind of problem for copyright because it's using exactly the font from Star Wars. I asked specifically for AT-AT or whoever knows Star Wars. And if you don't know which one is this, you can leave. It's fine. 7.
It looks a little large.
It looks a little large. It's something, probably. And yes, exactly. It's 7 minutes, 7 clicks, sorry, to make that. The thing that blew me away is the perspective of the Star Wars sign on the balloon situation. But the trick is to hide the imperfections. So that's why I applied colorized filters. That was something after the AI generated content because it was very obvious that the guy was totally off. So we're like, okay, how can I? This is what we do, right? So we have to hide it sometimes. So that's what happened. Now, really for clients. This is for my graphic. Please notice that you have a blue overlay on top of the photo. But we had to expand it because it was not fitting to the format ratio that all of the graphics had to use for the project. So by using the generative expand, please notice the elbow was not there and the back of the lady. And again, pay attention to the color overlay. You can't tell that it was not there. This guy, it was the right photo. We got it. But we need to tweak it more because of the topic that this photo was going to be used that for. We need to have a little more improvements. Then with the new model that is called Nano Banana, you say only the face change and the model is looking at the camera. 3 clicks and just the text.
So what is Nano Banana?
Nano Banana is from Google. It's a new model that they are using, and you can get this in Adobe beta version as well.
Oh.
So, and there is a lot of tricks that you have to follow. In this case, because of the specific situation that we had, you have to mask out the face because sometimes it changes proportions and doesn't understand how to lay down the hair, for example. But I use Photoshop tricks because I know Photoshop, right? So it's that where you start making and combining the tools for this. These kind of tools allow us to have around 180 images processed, selected, search, selected, edited, prepared in less than 1 week and a half, because that was not the project. That was part of the project. That was part of a computer-based training that had like 80 other slides that we had to program, prepare, format, edit video, synchronize animations, etc. So with that in hand, if we didn't find the right photo, but it was kind of the thing that we needed, allow us to do that. If you have worked with photographers and you have a photo shoot on the studio and the model didn't look exactly as you needed, now you have the tool to tweak without calling everyone back to the photo shoot. That is where I saw the power of this thing. So in the side story of technical content, we have this. This is the source file. And for all purposes, we need to remove the stickers and the lines, right? And that's what the Photoshop has the generative AI remove. That's the final image.
Wow.
Few clicks. Of course, always the cloning and a little bit of the smudging and all of that, because you know your tool. So you don't just rely on what Photoshop can do or not, but you start adding the details that you need. One of the things that I don't know and I didn't care was, is this part the real part of the device? Not any SME, subject matter expert detected, complained at all, right? Because this is not exactly how it was. But you have this. That was the original image. There was no way to get the original file without the overlays or the callouts. We need to clean it. The same thing. And here we were a little bit more creative freedom because we didn't care a lot of the details. And now Sarina is the one also who helped with us in this process. Hi. So what was the product, or why was this important for us? Again, was not part of the project, but we were able to process around 120 images in 5 days, but not just the editing and retouching. When the device or the thing that we needed to use was not exactly in the diagram, we had to go identify the part, the device was already disassembled, take the photo, edit, process, and continue. And that was used in this. This is one of the immersive trainings that we do for HP, where you have the device and you can see the detail in the special mode, which is the transparency mode. And then you have the diagram that this one, she did from scratch because the diagrams were not just usable for what we needed. You select the sensor is there. The technician or the service engineer detects where or identifies where the sensor is, giving more information, and that is the image. That's the photo that I was talking about. You can still see the blue rectangles, but we needed to provide more context because if you are doing this training, having the number S20 doesn't tell you anything. So we had to replace that with actual meaningful names of the parts that the sensor is around it, so they don't have to go back again to the original documentation, right? So that's why we had to take that step, but not just using the original image as it was. It was not giving any kind of benefit for the user. So where we will not use AI, it creates amazingly messy 3D models. And this is for one of the other trainings. It is a banknote processing machine. It is huge. It was a project that took around 8 months, give or take. And we just cannot have that because we have to optimize everything for the poor systems that have to run it, don't die in the process. The team had to go to the headquarters of this company in Germany, take the photos, record the audios, come back, continue doing the model, and update the textures and everything else. Because of the same reason, we cannot always use the AI or public clouds because it's confidential. So we had to recreate a lot of stuff from the models and the reference or the CAD files that we got from the client. It's the same criteria that we do for the other kind of graphics. In audio and video, this is something that I'm not sure if we want to use it now because we have our own studio capabilities. We can create our own videos. We know what we want to record. So if something doesn't come out right, we just go back to the studio, shoot, and we're happy, right? But these guys are creating the generative expand AI in video, right? So this is the video, original footage. Premiere is indicating where starts the AI part. So you have to really pay attention to what happens, right? And that movement was the AI. It's stupid, yeah, but
Did it create new content?
it created new content. No, it created new content. That
Just segmented out another interval and
no, you are describing what I will do in traditional editing tools. Yes, because you use cut, duplicate, and inverse.
Yeah, but video, it's super hard to like match it up.
Yes,
And that is able to like match it up.
yeah, especially if it's not static.
exactly. So I was tricky because I selected purposely the clip to show you because nothing changed. Well, sorry, not a lot of things changed on the frame. And we have a very easy to detect movement that can be easily flipped back, right? But it blew me away that you now have kind of stuff. We need to explore more of these options because sometimes the video is just part of a project. It was not considered. It's kind of hard to call everyone back to the recording session. So you have to explore and understand the limitations of this. That's why I'm making my clarification, right? On purpose for the demo today. When I was telling Mike, I prepared a lot of examples because we cannot show you exactly from the client. So I kind of made up my own stuff, but that's representing what we have done and applied for real projects. But this thing, if you use the Creative Suite and you can take a look, start experimenting with this and understand what's the problems.
I didn't realize Premiere out that.
They released it like 1 month ago, 2 months.
Really?
I think. Not. Don't quote me on that. And it only limits to 2 seconds for now. I know, but
Sometimes you need 2 seconds.
sometimes you need 2 seconds, right? Because now you have stretched the time as much as you can. Then you still need to have a little bit, then the coloring because the light changes a little bit more.
It's a start.
It's a start, exactly. It's a dangerous start.
But this like different parts, he was like the frame.
Huh?
Can rotoscope and isolate different parts of the frame.
I can, but that was not the main project.
Oh,
So how much time can you actually afford to spend doing double that level of rotoscoping for that part of the project? I'm not saying that we don't do that. We have done the painful process of rotoscoping, masking out, or whatever you want to say it. You have to evaluate what's the value of the final project and what is the thing that you can do, right? So that's why I'm saying that I will suggest that you keep an eye on that feature because it could easily say, After Effects, whoever is After Effects here, long time ago, they started saying a lot about the magic rotoscoping that they started adding, and it got very smart. But I don't know if I was doing the wrong things, but I had to go back again and fix a lot of the frames in different segments of the video. But it's growing, right? This is going to the right direction. This is a Adobe Premiere Pro fixing an audio. And when I recorded the screen, it didn't capture everything that I wanted to show because it's very subtle. Audio is very subtle. Sometimes you don't notice the things. I was recreating a case of an actual project where the actual client sent us a terrible audio. We cannot get back the instructors back to the classroom. So we need to fix the audio as much as we could and make it still with the volume. So I did some things that I'm going to show you later. But this, let me see, why I keep doing that? I have my screen here. So this is without the audio filter, okay? Some things that doesn't work is my English accent, okay? So don't expect marvels. This is for Adobe Premiere Pro. I am in the small room creating a video vehicle. The laser engraving is ready to job. And let's see how much can we clean
the video file.
So you can hear the noise. That's why I want to make sure that you listen to that.
This is a test for Adobe Premiere Pro.
Okay. Then if any one of you have done audio or video editing, Audition is your guy, but you have to export the audio, fix it, come back. And yeah, when I discovered this, I was like, oh my goodness.
This is a test for Adobe Premiere Pro. I am in the smartphone creating a video vehicle. The election engraving is rated yellow. And let's see how much can we clean the video file.
It doesn't fix English, but the audio and the echo part of this is gone. And I did this when I realized that I didn't capture the right thing. I did it last night in 7 minutes and just tweak some of the settings. Where you can find this is in the panel for essential sound. And you have a lot of presets that never help me. So I have to go back and make tweaks because I suddenly started losing a lot of words of what I was saying when I was exaggerating the filters and the dynamic balance of the voice. Mm-hmm. But in the videos of the real situation, it worked great. None of the videos had to be recreated again, and you could forgive a little bit of the issues that you were listening in those final products. And this is available in Premiere Pro, no beta version. If you have done also voiceovers, right? Okay. We have had the studio, bring the talent, you have the script, and record, take the audio, clean the audio still, make the edits, etc. If you have an audio booth, regardless, you have to go back again, clean the audios, remove the ums, the s, and all of that. And then you prepare the final audio and there's a change in the script. Oh, crap. You need to call back the voiceover talent. Remember the speed. Remember the emotions that you were conveying in the text, the accents that you were trying to reinforce. That talent has to remember all of that because if we are just replacing a segment of that audio, it has to match perfectly. And we are humans, so that doesn't work sometimes. You have to repeat multiple times this process. Because we don't label ourselves Intracon as a marketing agency, but we can do marketing. That's the power of having multiple offices as well. But we can and we have developed marketing content. But sometimes you have to understand that marketing projects that you have a lot of money for the script and you have, 7 people crew for one video shoot, right? And then you forgot, you don't have, because you have the director of the scene, you have the photography director, you have every kind of role. Then you have to record it. Or there is a change on the script. There is something that you have to go back. It's a lot of money that you need to spend. So we start looking at this for almost 6 years now, or 5 years, where because of the project, the voiceover was not the point, was not the objective, was the instructions for the how-to guides, how to use the virtual reality experiences. And because we were like, okay, we are adding a new feature. There is something that was not in the previous release. Are you going to bring over again the talent? Are you going to have the videos, the whole process? Then that's why we start looking into this solution. And this is one of the oldest platforms that I remember seeing about all voice systems. But it has the tricky. Cannot say Boise. Can't. It can't. So we had to use Boise EE. And then there is a lot of words that in one paragraph, it says the technical element and the technical word correctly. Next paragraph, the same word, say this wrong. Like, come on, what can we do? So I usually take care of I receive the script, I prepare the file, Synthesia, because of my bilingual abilities. Sometimes I need to say, hey, someone else, and Sabina or Annie, take a look at this. How would you say this word phonetically correct, even if it doesn't match what you are writing? Because you have to trick the system to say it as what you need, right? because we do a lot of the technical trainings. Sometimes it is funny to hear saying HP LaserJet MFP 877 something. But again, you have to 8 space 7 space 7.
Don't pretend 77.
Exactly, because it has to say the right way how the professionals in that field know the term. Right?
Does this program like match a speaker's voice, or does it just create its own voice?
Both. It has a predefined catalog of talent, different accents, different emotions, different nationalities. And if you want to have your own voice recorded, you have to go with the maximum enterprise solution. That's a lot of money, but you also have to sign the release of the human because you are given the permission to use that voice to train it. So it's a very, very dangerous kind of situations to fall into that. That's why we avoided to even mention that to projects or clients, because if that person is gone, you need to be very careful with your disclaimers, with your release, etc. So, but it can. And it's somewhere I have in my notes. These guys.
Yeah, it's kind of mentioned.
Yeah, it is amazing. I haven't used it. I use it. Artist IO. We use it a lot for music and soundtracks for the different videos. But where was they started? 2 years, 1 year ago?
I think the voiceover feature was a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Latest one that came out was like where you can record your own voice, change it to sound like somebody else, but still keep kind of your tone and rhythm and everything. Oh, it's full.
That's just recent, right? Okay. It sounds amazing. I don't believe in the marketing because sometimes they show you what we were talking about, right? That everything works perfectly. That's why I wanted to have this presentation at this level in terms of, no. Sometimes it doesn't actually do anything that you want it to do. The other one that the office in Germany are using a lot is HeyGen. And I think that they went on the customized voice from a specific company member. I don't know yet the details, but everyone is claiming is one of the best for voice generation. Because here is one of the problems. When you are working with international audiences, you have to be careful about the speed that you are talking. It's not just saying in the way that anyone from here will understand it. You have to understand that they have to reduce the voice so they have a little more control on how you say the things. Storyline doesn't. Sorry, it's another solution. Synthesia doesn't have that capability. We can make pauses between words, but we cannot tweak enunciation. Reason why we continue with this guy is because it has all of the scripts and all of the stuff that we have done for specific projects that we come back and revisit every X months to make updates or whatever situation we need to do. So, continuing this guy. I don't know if you have heard about this guy, Notebook LM, because we have podcast people here, right? You can take a PDF or a written document, upload to this platform, and say, create me a podcast with 2 voices, one male, one female, and turn everything into, hey, so Alex, when you were talking about the last time, yeah, that was cool. It will blow you away the natural flow of the conversation. It is pretty scary good. Students or Google is promoting because it could be a study guide. You can take your PDF and then you can start asking, summarize this and give me the audio for this or give me the text for this. So you can start asking a lot of questions. So they are using a lot for research or study or traditional education systems. What I use it for, that's why I cannot show you what I did, but this is the meeting. This is a problem. Please identify what is the feeling with the client, what is he complaining about, and what my action items. And creates all of the stuff for me. And I didn't trust it, right? So I went back. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. I had to listen to the 45 minutes of the conversation. Oh, yeah, it is correct. So it was right. It didn't miss what at least I was asking. If there were some things that there was not in this analysis. It was not of my interest. I never asked, so I don't know if it missed it or not. It got the information that I needed, my action items, and I even asked what is the priority in the action items. All of that based on the conversation. So worth checking it out. We talk about Photoshop, right? And generative fill, removal. You can remove everything that you need to do in a few clicks. Perfect. But we have the situation where we have a project where we need to process around 200 or 300 assets. And this guy has an API. And whoever likes to do code, then you can connect whatever you have in your system, talk to that platform, to that application. This is what I want. This is the parameters. Please process all of this batch. And I'm just showing here remove background, but it has a lot of more options. This platform, it has for cleaning, noise, and I cannot remember exactly how many, but I think it's I'm saying. So questions so far? No? Yes.
What made you choose Notebook LM versus other solutions? Was it because you wanted the IO playback?
No. The way that I learned about that was to listen to a podcast from a discussion from a meeting that we had about AI development. That blew me away. So I didn't look for any other solution. I think there are more that can do that.
Well, just because it depends on how you want to use it, right? So like for Notebook, I totally get if you wanted to play back information as an audio. But for example, even just some paid version of ChatGPT, you can create folders. And in that folder, you can attach permanent documents.
Yes.
So now you don't have to keep referencing anything, right? You can just have it build its knowledge base.
Yep.
And it will use anything that you put in that folder to answer your question.
Yes.
And just look at the contents of that folder versus all of your other
or isolated chats.
Yeah. So that's another way you could have been like, hey, I've had multiple meetings with this client. I'm going to load all of it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It has context of your prior meetings to say, oh, based on prior meetings, this is the order of importance. Right.
I haven't done that with ChatGPT, but that's a good point. We use the features of projects where you upload the files and all of that. Cloud, that's what all the one that I used. It had the same thing.
And Notebook could do it too.
Huh?
Notebook LM could do it.
Yeah, too. But I haven't gone to outside of that for that specific purpose. And what was the thing that I really like? It has an automatic kind of detection for the most common things. And that's why when I did a test, because I was like, I remember this from that presentation about AI. I upload the file and oh, okay. So I started doing more. But it's good to check. Oh, and also Gemini and Gemini Studio. No, Google AI Studio. Yes. It has other balance of tools. Yeah, that's another thing, right? It's overwhelming. You either become a prompt master, which I respect, I understand. It's not my focus. It's not something I really want to care about in terms of what we do. That's why I was showing why we use it. The best way that we use it is that you don't notice that we use it. You will not see a Intracon project with Pixar-style photos of the client. You can see for my personal stuff, maybe, but we don't do that specifically. I wanted to show here Adobe Firefly because it's the one that allows us to use in commercial environment. I feel better, quote unquote, because it's totally shady how they are doing the thing sometimes. It's the truth. I just closed the enterprise, the team's membership with Adobe because it was just crappy, and discussion with the chat support, etc. We move into individual licenses. But it's the safest bet for commercial projects because you have the backup of the creative use that comes with the Firefly model. So that's the only reason why I wanted to show this. But you said it was very difficult to have 6 fingers. It was very difficult for me to not get 6 fingers or more. Okay? This is totally, my exercise here is prompt, output, not tweak, as it was. That was my prompt. And you're going to say that's a lame prompt. Yes, it was a lame prompt. But they never ask you to have more than 5 fingers.
What was in your negative prompt?
right? That's the kind of things that I believe that we should not even think about it, because it's Adobe. It comes with your pay and it's giving you the credits to create this stuff, right? Okay. That is the Adobe has multiple models that you have access. It's Firefly 4, Firefly 3. I think it was Firefly 4. Then you say, okay, I'll leave it better. Let's tweak it a bit more to this guy. I don't know how you can humanly have that arm twisted in that way, right? The one on the right, yeah, it's kind of okay. If you start counting the hand, this hand, you're like, yeah, 6 fingers again. Okay, but please, hands with only 5 fingers. Okay. This is a very traditional, easy to detect ChatGPT style. It adds a very slight brownish, kind of warm color. I'm going to go back. You see the prevalence of blue hues, and you can easily detect what comes from ChatGPT. But it did a very good job at not showing me 6 fingers, right? All of the Googles, because of the copyright, you will not ever find a headset of Apple Vision Pro or the Meta Quest 3. You can't. And the one that you have, the one that Adobe has in the library, is always rule number 1, lame headset, and rule number B, open mouth. It's like the rule. Don't believe me? Search for library items, make a search for virtual reality. So go back to basics. What it makes a good prompt? We have to understand that I always use the example of you are the fly hitting the window over and over again. If you don't learn how to make the prompts, you are the fly. You just not get out of the window, right? So we need to get the basics, and this is kind of what it does a good prompt. I didn't spend a lot of time going into seminars or webinars. I'm not saying that with proud. I'm just saying sometimes we don't have the time. Or I don't have exactly the energy to do that. I went to my AI friends. Hey, Cloud, what makes a good AI prompt? Then I got this and reinforce it with ChatGPT. Okay. All of that comes to senses. It makes sense, right? Okay. Then you have a professional headshot, confidential businesswoman, there is blah, 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 blah. Cool. I broke it down into what they say the main topics. That's important elements of it.
For Firefly specifically, or
this is Adobe Firefly. Yeah, this was specifically for Fly, but I'm going to jump to other models in a little bit. So you have this. It did a very good job, right? Adobe Firefly 4. But then, again, in international audiences, sometimes this doesn't work. So I had to add a Mexican businesswoman. 2 years ago, it was not possible to get something like this. They didn't know Mexican, a smart business, successful Mexican woman. Funny, right? But it was the reality. We could not get to that level, but now we can. And generates a very good take on the different shots. Then I went to what they call Adobe proprietary, is the Firefly model, but it has partnerships with third-party models. One of them is Image for Ultra, Flux Ultra, and Nano Banana. Nano Banana being Gemini, or Google platform. Then I say the same prompt. And all of them, they are different. But I can tell you, yeah, all of them look Mexican woman. Depends on the city, depends on that. But I can say, yeah, I will say yes, this is good. But take a look at the different takes, right? They do a very good job. Surprise. Adobe says, hey, you're using third party, so we are washing our hands about commercial use. So you have to be careful with that. They have the disclaimer. So like, okay, thanks for nothing. Then I went back again to Adobe Firefly, but I know what to look for. So on purpose, I made me prompt in this way. Anything with hands or text will give you issues. I may be wrong, but again, I show you the logic of the prompt. I show you the prompt, and these are the results. And the first take is like, oh, it's cool, right? When you start looking at this, you have this lady. This one is okay. Lame headset, but everything seems to be okay. It's same prompt. Then I moved to Nano Banana and Flux Ultra model. I don't know who has that kind of desk, but I could not change the desk, the shape. So apparently, ergonomic desk comes with a non-recyclable bamboo something. I don't know. But then we have the other guy that now is just not 5, 6 fingers. It's an extra arm. Or the other person is just invisible. Right? So I on purpose, I was showing this because I knew that I was going to have a hard time. Yes, probably I will have eventually get the right photo. And that's why at Intracon, we are very careful about what and where we use it. We know that we cannot exactly use it for full image generation because if you have, there are a lot of guides about creative direction for AI, where you can get consistent results because you have the face, but you have different photos that you want to use of the same model. Now you have to keep the same face, the same clothing, the same environment, and that's where the importance of creative direction comes in the formation of the prompt, right? I don't do that. We don't do that because we avoid it. Because if we have a real photo shoot, then we hire the talent or we bring the people and we identify what we need, or we find the stock images that are actualized by the client to do it. So everyone will say, oh, this is the 10 tips for something or the 7 rules. It's just whatever makes sense. From my perspective or from our take this is what I had to learn. One of the guys that was engaging in LinkedIn, he mentioned the technical term for the 6 fingers hexadactyl. Do you remember that? Oh, okay. He was responding to your post that you did. And I'm like, I didn't know that was the name. So I said, yeah, that's a great point. So I forgot the name because I wanted to mention his comment. It's very good. I need to understand that if I'm going to use Aurelio AI for content generation, you better understand what is the field that you're going to use it for because you have to use right terminology. If I use the wrong kind of graphic for someone who is expert, you will be called out immediately. No way around it. So again, it's the right way to get the 6 fingers. I did my first attempt with that description and I got ChatGPT to give me 6 fingers in 2 prompts. Yeah. But again, I didn't know the terminology, right? I was saying 6 fingers. Never got it correctly. That's why I'm saying that. In my case, I didn't know the word. But that would be kind of the suggestions or tips. One of the things that we believe at Intracon that is critical, and if you are using UI, you have to take a serious look into this, into your team, your organization, whatever you do. You have to identify your guidelines, your ethical, professional guidelines. It can go from understanding which one of your team already is using AI, because sometimes someone else is doing it, but it's not part of the job, so that's why you don't know they are using it. So you have to have a very clear conversation with your team. You have to understand, in my case, I was trained about the subject matter experts. If we have images that are not true, we will recall out, right? That's why we are not removing ourselves or expertise or experience from the services that we provide. If you have something and you have to use AI, use review the risk. We have the rule, right? It's not confidential in the documentation. We have to ask for permission. Can we share this? Can we use this? It's a public available document, then we can use it. If not, we have to double check or triple check sometimes. Yeah, what you should not do. You will not see photos of us or someone promoting a product, kind of unethical uses. But you will be surprised. Sometimes you need to make all of those clarifications in any kind of organization. So I want to show you Firefly video. It was a total disappointment, except this one. This is one of my old renders. A static shot, nothing moves. I took the render image, sent it to Adobe Firefly video. Yeah, that was the model. And this was my lane prompt. And this was the third attempt. It was very good because it created all of this space with this. I will probably at another time will show you the no good things because it was super weird and super crazy. The guy was moving along and doing weird things. It does very good with repetitive patterns, right? If we have time, I will show you other examples that I did with the other models that we have. Yes. So beyond the screen, I think in one of the descriptions that I had in the presentation was, I love technology, as you can imagine. I love sci-fi, of course, but I also like to be in problems because sometimes I get into things that I had never done. So I really enjoy doing that. When there is a lot of projects I have no idea how to tackle, we're like, okay, I don't know. Let's find the right way to do it or the 10 times to not do it right. Because of that, I take the AI stuff and I want to do it outside with my kid, for my wife, or for enjoyment, but also has helped me for professional stuff. So this guy was from Midjourney. And that was like, I don't know, 5 years ago, the prompt. And there is a service that is called Tripod 3D. You take the image and generates the 3D model. If you want to use this QR code, it will launch an augmented reality view. You need to take permission. This guy, and he has the 3D models. It's facing this way. So whoever wants to give a try, that's the QR code. And I'm going to change. It's the same QR code that enables you to do that. Remember my stick figure robot, right? A Tripod 3D, give me the representation of this guy, of the robot. That's it. But then, okay, let's try to explore it. Oh, nice. And I made a 3D print.
Wow. How long did it take to generate the 3D?
5 minutes? No, not even that, right?
I mean, because of the complexity, when I I did a photo of like a person standing, and that took maybe 15 minutes, but that was because it was taking out the whole background, it was forced. But when you put a more simple thing like that, it generates pretty fast.
No more than 5 minutes. The geometry is garbage.
Yeah.
It's not good for low polygon models, for anything like that. And these 3D prints, I wanted to bring you that. I didn't do any cleanup. I just lost the patience on the top antennas. When I was removing the supports, I was like, so it broke. The red guy, I used a different method for 3D printing. The two antennas were awesome. I have the proof here, but it broke when I was being transported. I had to break the head out of the body to have less support generation.
Yeah.
So the thing is, okay, so now I can draw it. I can see it in the AR. Well, the reason why we start experimenting with this is because we want to see if we can create AR games with low polygon stuff. And then we have the character that we want to draw. Then show me in AR and let's make the game. But for me and my kid, it's whatever he draws or whatever we start talking about, this guy allows me to do that. I'm like, yeah, he was impressed. I was impressed. I don't know about you guys, but whoever does 3D, it is pretty awesome. One of the things that I have is I don't have a very good imagination to create stuff that I don't see. For me, it's way easier to create this space, no problem at all. You ask me to make a rocket ship, sci-fi, expansive style, no, I can't do that. So if I sketch something like the amazing robot here, that was my sketch, that was my idea, that's what I want to do, then I'm getting this. I could take this and now read topology or create my own model, my own take with my own tools because I know the 3D software. But now I have the idea that okay, that's kind of cool. So what I did, I went to Midjourney, create me cute clouds, create me cute simplified trees, because that gives me an idea that I can see the image, and now I can start making my own 3D model. In that time, it was not poly 3D available. So I was thinking in terms of how can I create something from the image, but I cannot draw or imagine that image specifically. So that's what helped me in Midjourney in that time. So now I went to, hey, give me a cute ghost figure. And I wanted to include this because you all appreciate this, which is the Illustrator outline. And this is the case that not everything is usable for different purposes. I had to go and clean and remove. And I made variations for, it will be for my wife, it will be for my kid. This is an experiment because it was a nightmare, the vector that it did. No way it could get a pug as a ghost. No way. Could not. It was mixing a photo with a very bizarre kind of mix of ghost kind of stuff. I need to draw that one. But taking that into the laser color, we're going to paint this guy following these things. And that will be the final product. And this, again, a nightmare. If you want to clean it, good luck with that. If you want to do laser engraving or something using the vector lines, no. But what? At the back is the QR code for the Boise video. You can smell still the burning wood because I finished that last night.
So you lifted that up.
Huh? I did, but it was, what's the name? Scoring.
Yeah.
Scoring and very low power because this was the original one.
So it's made with
It says made with the AI.
yeah, that was true.
This one is without the subtle lines. Now you will get the other one, Mike, and you will see the difference on.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
If you go into the traditional way to do the laser engraving from the vector, yeah, no, not good results.
Lower.
Thank you.
Switch theater to press. Cherskilly.
Right. Smells like campfire.
Yeah. I tried to clean it. I was like, yeah, I should have talked about this a long time ago. I didn't think about it. But I wanted to show you that the first observation that I got was from Michael, our sponsor. He said, but if you want to have snow on the hills, you don't have those beautiful trees. You will have only branches, which is true. And B, I don't think that the hills look like that behind the Capitol. I think they have more flat kind of a surface. But this was made in Illustrator Generative Field. Created the placeholder, Boise Cityscape, Cityscape, something like that, with the hills. And I don't remember even saying anything else. Took me like 6, give me more generations, because they give you 3 and then you go again. That was the last one. The one that I was like, okay, this could work, because I was thinking about the fact that we want to engrave it, right?
I don't know how much effort to get from the first one to the second one so that you could actually have it ready for a laser.
I didn't do much. I think that the most I was being lazy. I didn't originally. The design was the circle was cutting the trees, but that meant that I had to go and cut the circle, and I was like, yeah, no, this make it smaller. So it really was, I don't know, 10 minutes to get the file separated. This because initially I wanted the one that doesn't have the lines. I did a test. I was like, yeah, that looks lame. Then I went back to start adding a little bit of tricks for the final product. So that's why I had to bring back the BGDG logo vector, so you can see that. So I would say that probably design 15 minutes, give or take. And the laser stuff, 3 hours. Something. I have a small laser. And whoever wants to do code, what blew me away, my bachelor's is in computer science and computer electronic engineering, which I don't remember a lot now, but I know how to code. I knew, I guess, but I didn't do anything on Arduino, and I forgot some of the basics on electronics. And it was a conversation. I said, okay, I have this board, I have this. How can I connect this? Give me the pin number, give me the voltage, give me everything. Oh, okay, let's continue experimenting. So what we end up was a sensor for a Lego part that's going to be assembled into Lego. It has a garage door that opens based on detection of the Hot Wheels cars. And one of the things that 3D AI cannot do is 3D model. So I'm using Fusion. Remember I said it's basic modeling, but I'm learning it. Then I have the case, and now I'm doing the Lego snap. I could potentially go back to basics and remember everything on the electronic, everything on the coding. I don't have a lot of time. So that's why, again, AI is helping me to do stuff beyond just the computer and design things. And we are out of time.
Keep on going.
The one, okay. Interesting projects. You should take a look at how is the state of these tools. You have had this tool for years. It's Adobe Dimension. It comes with your Creative Cloud. It's amazingly good for product shots, where you can have multiple languages and you want the same setup. You just change your cover, your textures, and everything else, and you have the same studio. You can take your own photo, have the photo of the backdrop, and this guy says, this is the object, this is the backdrop, match the camera perspective, and moves everything and the lighting to match the photo, and then you have your 3D render. It may not be the professional photo studio that you're used to, but if you want to repeat the same shot for 5, 10 different languages, it could help you a lot. It grew a lot during the COVID, so that's why they started reinforcing a lot of the tools that were available. Anyone have used it?
Not really. But Fusion 360 has a decent render thing there.
Correct. This guy, I'm not a I love how the people can think bidimensional of 3-dimensional objects. I can't. Whoever creates packaging, one of my heroes. Why? Because they need to think about material consumption, structural, I don't know the terminology, but that doesn't get flat if you put the hand on top of that, right? So I was like, a long time ago, we had to do a visualization for a product where we actually had to send the, what's the name? The odd lines?
The die line.
The die line for the actual company that was going to make the box. So I had to get into this and kind of jump to that. That was a while ago. And now there is an AI tool that I surely say, please pay attention to this, BGDG AI Antidote.
But how does it look like organic?
Really?
Like if you're packaging a sheet, something that's not a square box,
Yeah.
anything it's like a header card like this,
Yes, exactly.
you know? How
Or
would you do with that?
They have a library of different bottles and different boxes. It's worth exploring, but AI is AI. BGD AI group always has trouble when you have close-ups of actual text that you can read. I don't understand why this view for the die line was like this when the concept was pretty good. Because that was my prompt somewhere.
So that creates that graphics.
Yeah.
Timeline.
Yes. You select the.
It gives you a dial.
Yes.
Oh.
You select the kind of the package that you want to use, and then you go. You just follow the wizard, and you do that.
Oh.
I don't know. It's like okay, interesting. Bad job with organic, I think, but they have some bottles that like the juice.
That's been my experience.
Yeah.
Organic shapes. For dimension, it doesn't do well with like.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. But we're experimenting or we're checking this guy. Okay, this one. It looks like a toy application. I forgot to make a speed up version of this capture. So I'm going to make a human. You paint. It uses color structure for defining what is a cloud, what is a hill, what is snow. I have that. I feel like the guy of the Bob Ross kind of happy little tree, right? I don't see why NVIDIA is pushing so much this application because the resolution that gives is very low. It's not exactly for real printing, but I think that they're using for training the models that they have. NVIDIA is huge in AI and development. But I'm like, interesting. But from this, you get to this. Project Neo. That was my geometry. That was my prompt. That was the output. Sci-fi platform with gas tanks and platforms for rockets. I'm going against everything I said about prompts, but just okay. Let's see what happens with this thing. Okay, almost kind of the same shape, but now conveyor belt in industrial warehouse. There are fuel tanks and wood planks for the construction. No background. Ignore me. The background part.
Does that only do isometric?
No, you change the perspective of the camera. And the camera settings, the camera angle, and the settings. But come on, it's like, okay, let's start experimenting with icons. Let's experiment with some kind of ideas that you just know how to sketch the parts. It gives me the concept, and you decide if you want to make the 3D model, take the photo, whatever you want to do, right? Right now it's in beta.
So we Project Neo human for.
Huh?
What's Project Neo support? Like there's so many Adobe clients.
Yes. They love to, like everyone else, they love to have a project and then kill it. So for me, it's totally unclear. They have a Adobe AR authoring tool. You could create AR for the mobile devices that stay in beta forever. It's released, never for Android. When finally released for Android, they kill it. And everyone was using it for AR. It was very friendly. It was awesome. I was going to talk about the presentation today, but they are sunsetting in December. There is no solution. There is nothing that is going to replace it. It's like XD, I guess. What I have no idea what they're going to do. But just remember something: the audio magic that you saw with the Premiere and the things that they have done it is coming from the AI engine that they have in testing and training for almost 7 years. So all of this is not exactly new for Adobe. So I will not have any doubts about this being just something that is going to be added later in Photoshop. I will assume, right? But in the meantime, I think it could give you some different creative perspectives. Did a test. This is the one that you have always seen with very good videos, and it's called the Runway AI. On purpose, I asked BGDG because I know that it has text issues, right? And it made a terrible result. And it cost 200 credits in Adobe platform because it's available through the Adobe license that you have. But it costs you a lot, and I'm like, yeah, never again.
5 seconds or something.
Yeah, only 5 seconds. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I have seen amazing stuff created with this tool. Not my thing. Again, because we don't create content just because I dream about it. It's not need for us in projects. And this one, very specific, I understand, in the 3D. Why is important in some perspectives? You have the 3D models. Of course, it's Star Wars. It creates something that's called Gaussian splatter. Basically, it scans the object. It was a video. Recognize the geometry, and I can get the 3D model out of that.
Yeah.
And this guy, you can see the capture. This is made from Luma. I'm going to wait until it's done. You capture the space. It was in our dinner table. Generates the geometry. But then with my hand, I draw the flying path. It was not recorded like this. It understands the space, gives me access to the coordinates of the camera, and then I can tweak my step where the camera moves. You may wonder why you care about this crap. I don't, but Chalamet, the guy from the movies, he cared about that. There was a movie about a cabin, horror movie from this guy, the guy who made The Sixth Sense. Okay. In CES, they presented the Canon project where they use different cameras capturing the sequence. So there was alternative sequences from different points of view from the characters recorded at the same time. They could change the directions of the camera depending on what the director was asking using kind of the same technology. So
Visual.
yeah, but it was made for the movie. It was used for the final movie. That was like, holy crap. Well, I was surprised.
Nice.